All right. Welcome to the broadcast. And today we're talking about the competence number seven, fast realization, action crisis. Yeah, because this is our preferred one. Yeah, Svetlana. Number seven, energy.
Yeah, and we love crisis. Why? Because crisis allow us to grow. When everything is smooth, we kind of fall asleep and we go into routine and we forget that life is about living and not just following the steps. But today we want to talk about why we are not following the steps sometimes, why we procrastinate, why we see things piling up, but we don't have enough something, a secret ingredient in our crisis. Because when we lack that secret ingredient, the crisis wakes us up. And when we have a lot of this very secret ingredient, we also sometimes get into crisis because we have so much of it that we don't know what to do with it. So if you already guessed what it might be, you can give us a hint in the messages. But for those who didn't guess, we will tell you. We procrastinate, we get into crisis, we avoid people, we lose money, we do not get into opportunity, we are indecisive, we feel incompetent, not because we don't have competences, but because we don't have energy. We don't have
Yeah.
enough fuel to drive our vehicle. So today we're going to talk about how that fuel needs to move through your body and what it will produce when it's not enough and what will happen when it's too much and what you need to do to balance and to be a well-designed vehicle for this journey in our life.
Yeah, and of course, we really want to reach our goals, and most people they don't lack the ideas. What they mostly lack is the execution. Yeah, and I'm gonna share my screen here, and gonna go through the old kind of incredible magic three slides for today, where we'll be covering about how it's important to understand how to use this energy of execution on a daily basis and in order to be better, to be more professional, to have a great relationship with everyone, not only with yourself, but people around you, because all opportunities they come from other people, and if you can build relationship, you can create a great opportunity for others. This is going to be your bridge to success. And if you can see our slide right here, we have here nine competences, yes? And of course, to use them, we have to have an energy and we have to have actions. And let's just start with number nine, yeah?
We can start with number nine, but we can also start with number one. If you can look at it, those are steps, step, step, step,
Hmm.
step, step. And they are split in three categories. And each category of the step, each three, almost like a trimester when you are in gestation, if you're pregnant, for example, if you're a woman, the body goes through the stages, and our life goes through the same stages, and our business goes through the same stages. So first, you need to have a status, right? You have to be married, or you have to be deciding that you want to have a child. You give yourself a status, like what am I going to do, the strategy, what is my vision, what am I going to do about my desires, my ideas, and that gives you the first step. Then you find the relationship, and then you build the relationship, and you create a team. If you want to give birth to a business, a bigger team. If it's just for the child, maybe just the father, mother, and the grandparents and the siblings. And then you analyze who do you have, how the relationship goes. You give instructions to people. This is what I want. This is how I want it. You create a system in which the child, for example, comes as a wanted, expected, appreciated being. But if you don't have that foundation, the system is not there, things happens out of order, it creates a lot of stress. But at the same time, the crisis gives you an opportunity to grow and find those competencies, even if you didn't have them before. But also looking in your date of birth, you can find those numbers, 1, 2, and 3. If you have them in your date of birth, that means you might have already a head start. in relationship to the people who might not have these numbers. For example, if you're born after 2000, you might not have one. And then somebody has to get you into the status. Somebody has to give you the strategy and maybe help you with the vision. But this first trimester of any gestation, of any business, for example, has to start here. And after we've done that, we go to the next step. And the next step is about, I already there, I already have the seed, I already have an idea, I already have a system start building. But then what? What happens then in the second trimester?
Yeah, it's happened that we have to get some knowledge, yeah? Because of course you have some knowledge inside of you, but do you really can use them? And that's why to understand how to use your knowledge that's like hidden inside of you, or you really need to attract some or get some from expertise, from other expert. It doesn't matter. We really want to be successful. You really need to really start creating your goals, to set your goals, to prioritize them. It's very important. And working with the business people, and I can see exactly right now, like even we're talking about basic stuff. They cannot set their goals, they cannot prioritize them, and of course they really want to just attract big money. I really want a big result, but everything starts with foundation, and of course the level of our communication. Yeah, the competence number 5. To scale up your idea, you need to attract people. Really need to build your company. You really need to build your team. And of course, you have to bring the usefulness through your business. It doesn't matter. Is it product or service? You really need to understand these competences. Otherwise, you can generate a lot of money, but at the end, you cannot use them in the right way. And of course, we're talking about comfort, service, and convenience when you meet with people, when you work, when you build your team, because we've been through a lot of challenges right now with the big people from the business that they really just have idea, oh, I really want to build this business and I don't care. I will go like hiring people, firing them, hiring people, firing them. But at the end, there is no energy, there's no attraction as a business owner, and nobody wants to go to you, to your business and work with them. I'm talking about reality. I'm working right now with business people. We rebuild their brand because in objective reality, there is some stories around the city. When they hear this name, they really don't want to go to work for them. It's
Yeah.
very crucial.
Yeah. What's interesting is just like when the child is about to be born, once it's grounded in the body, it needs to find its space. It needs to find how I can grow without disturbing the mother. And this connection between the idea of the child and the reality of the child very often are not the same. Very often, when the first foundation is laid down, the next level is much harder because that's where you need to really be skillful in things that help you grow. It's one thing to put the seed into the ground, it's a whole different story to grow a tree out of it. And so you go into the space in which you need the technology. How do I do things? Methodology. You need to have the values that are shared, and you move into this next level in which the child is about to be born. The child is about to be independent. But if you don't have a system or foundation, and if it's not comfortable for the child within your body, you might not be able to get to the end of the pregnancy. You might not be able to carry your business through the second part of it grows, the scale. And as it starts scaling, it swallows you. That's where the crisis starts, where you want everything to be perfect, everything has to be fast, everything has to be right now, but the body of the business or the body of the child is not ready for it. Most importantly, your body is not ready for it. When you experience discomfort and stress, that means things are not in order. So the next competency and the next step into this level of maturity, because in the third trimester, the baby matures and then it gets out, and you no longer have a control over it. So while you still have a control over it, while it's still your body, you need to look into your structure and the structure of your business and understand what are the shared values, why people are not comfortable. Maybe they have different ideas of what you want. What do you recognize about yourself? What is important to you? What is important to your people? How does it match? And then how do you bring the quality to what you're doing? Because the process could be amazing, but it can bring very bad result if some of these competencies are missing. And the result, the material outcome of it, very much depends on this first two stages of the gestation of your business or of your baby or of yourself. Because in your life, you constantly go through these processes. Every time you start something new, the stress is there. Then you realize how to create a system out of it, how to create relationship around it. You move into the next level where you get the knowledge, you get priorities, you get comfort, you start communicating, scaling. And right before the next one, this is where we lose it. And that is the movement from the idea and from the preparation into the action. And the action needs a secret ingredient, the energy that fuels it. And the energy is not motivation. You should do it, you have to do it, I'll give you $5 for it. That's not going to work. The energy is something that is internal. It helps you build an inner electrical station for yourself. Very often businesses depend on outside sources of energy. He didn't do it, she didn't do it, that's why there is a failure. But everybody needs to have their own inner core electrical station that motivates you, that moves you, because it's yours, because the values and priorities are yours. And then this idea, I'm lazy, or my workers are lazy, or my child is lazy, is no longer a valuable idea, because you understand it's not the laziness, it's the lack of competency and the lack of energy that doesn't allow you to progress forward.
Yeah, and of course, we really need to pay attention how we really want to achieve our goals. We have idea, yeah, we invest a lot of money, and when you don't know these old line competencies, when you don't put enough energy in it, you really cannot achieve your goals as really want. And that's why what we do with Svetlana, we teach you how to go from 1 to 9 and include all these kind of competences in your realization. And it doesn't matter where you are right now with your results, we can push you. We can push a bit harder because we can share our knowledge, yeah, the competence number 4, and our energy, the competence number 7, because we're both 7s and we really know how to push you on the level of the energy.
Yeah, because when you don't have enough energy, you experience energy in motion, emotion. What happens when something is not happening the way you want? You go into grief or anger or fear or depression. And actually, how your emotion will show up depends on how much energy you have. If you don't have enough energy, you're going to go into depression, because everything will be oppressing you and bringing you down. If you have a very wild imagination, you will imagine stuff and you will start being scared of them. If you have a lot of energy, you will come out and scream at everybody, or reprimand everybody, or get upset with everybody. And if you have nothing at all, you're gonna go to shut down. And you might have seen some of the business owners in this position. Oh my God, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? And that is the shutdown, because at that point, the energy does not reach the brain and all the ideas are gone. You feel like there is no exit from the situation, but there is always a resolution. There is always a possibility. And if you only have one choice, it means you're not choosing. Because to be able to choose, you need to have a variety of choices. And for that, you need to start with understanding when you disagree with people or yourself, if you have an inner conflict, or with what business is doing, you are trying to push away the objective reality and succumbing to subjective reality, how bad things are in your idea, in your head. But the truth of the matter is, building the energy, moving, for example, getting energy from the movement, getting energy from the knowledge, getting energy from having people who are sharing your values. All these forms of energy help you move together. So you don't have to pull anybody, you don't have to push anybody. You can go together to the shared goal. And everybody at this point loses the fear and finds the hope, finds the opportunity to discuss, to use this competency 5 to bring yourself from the brink of crisis to the brink of resolution.
Yeah, and think about, guys, when we really want to start our own business. Why? Because most of us, we don't want to work for an uncle. Yeah, for an uncle. I really want to work for myself. And at the end of the year, we find ourselves like working 24 hours. We do everything. We work with clients, we work with CRM system, social medias, all this kind of stuff. But when you really understand your power, where your most powerful energy is, and what you really want and can do in objective reality, and we can guide you with this. Of course, you can like uh, of anyway you're gonna go through kind of crisis, let's say, but with the energy, with this kind of buffer, it's gonna be easier and much faster to go from like deepest crisis to the to your growth. And that's why you don't need to be afraid to be in a crisis. And maybe right now you think in your crisis, and what I really suggest, it's really understand when you start fighting for your rights, for really, I really want to do in this way without going through all kind of analysis, you start losing your energy. And when you start fighting for something artificial, it doesn't exist in objective reality, you say to the universe, I don't need money. I really want to be right as a person. And of course, this is like something philosophical part of our education, but in reality, this is the level of your money that you can attract in your life, and energy is equal to your money that you can attract and keep. Because of course, one day you can generate a lot of money, but what you're gonna do tomorrow? How are you gonna manage them? This is a very important question, and that's why talking about anger, grief, fear, depression, and the lowest status is stagnation, shutdown, inaction. It's tough. But when you start your business, you really want to help other people. But how are you going to help without energy? Yeah.
Right. So the energy also comes from disagreement. When you argue, you leak the energy all the time. If you are blaming somebody, you leak the energy. Why? Because in order to blame somebody or in order to be angry, you need to focus on that which is not perfect. And again, there are two extremes. Everything should be perfect, and I don't care how it is. There is a happy medium in between. Um, if you cannot do it with the A, do it with the C. You don't have to do it with the F, but you also don't have to do it with A. Why is it important? Because reality, objective reality, gives us a result of all our thoughts and ideas and actions. And what we see is not something that happened to you. It's something you've created with your thoughts, your emotions, your communications, your competencies. And as you create that and observe it, this is the moment to agree, not disagree. This is where you lift the energy. When you look into this and say, I didn't mean it, I didn't do it, it's not mine, I don't have to do anything about it, this is your mistake. This is where you drop from love of your business, from loving your ideas, from loving the person 5 minutes ago, to the blame, which is a very low energy. 500 hertz is for the love, and 20 for the blame and shame, and 30 for the fear, and 50 to 70 for the anger. So to reach 500 hertz within your body, within your electricity, you need to consciously shift your attention to that what you love, not what to what you hate. But many owners, business owners, when I talk to people, to my clients, they say, but in reality, I have a problem. And I always say, yes, you have a problem, but this is not real moment of right now. It's the result of all the moments and decisions you made before. So here, right now, you can start a whole different set of decisions. But if you always focus on the result of the previous decisions, you will always have the result of previous decisions. And the new decisions come from the vision. So we go back, we look into this and we agree, yes, this does not work. Yes, maybe I don't have enough competency. Who has those competency? Maybe I don't have enough resources. Who can I partner with? Who can I work with on that? And then when you agree, like AA meetings, first you have to recognize I am this. And then once you understand that, you can find a way to expand your base, to have a bigger pool of options and choices. And you choose what is right for you, not what's right for the next business. Because other people with other businesses, even similar, they have different realities that you do not see. You always see the result of their previous decisions, and those decisions are different. They're based on your date of birth, by the way. We can look into your date of birth and show you where these decisions come from. We can look into the name, even your name that you always say also has a vibrational quality. The words you always use have vibrational quality. And in order for you to raise your vibration, you need to use the words that have a little better vibrational quality. Not you did it, but how can we do it better? Not that is a problem, but we have a great opportunity to find solution to something that we didn't know before. This is our point of growth. And shift yourself and your team and your thinking with the forward thinking, not with the backward thinking. And also really paying attention to what you love. Because in every business, there's a pile of stuff that has to be done. It's better to delegate them to people who love it. There are people, trust me and believe me, because I've done many analysis for many businesses. The owner does not know what to do with that and do it because nobody else will do it the best. Yeah, maybe, but somebody will do it diligently. The best is not necessary. Sometimes it's only necessary to put your focus on something that you like. And believe me, there are some people who like to count numbers, even if the owner is not accountant. There are people who likes to put the papers together in the right piles. Even if you don't think it's something valuable for you, there are people that will do it. But you need to go beyond disagreement. Everybody is against me, including the universe, and go into agreement. Yeah, some things are not working well. How can I make them better?
Yeah, and really want to share some my cases. I'm working right now with interesting business people, and we're talking about like to be like in anger. Yeah, the guy he was born on the group of six. Yeah, for those who was born on the 6, 15, 24th, this is group six. They were born in the full of emotions. They really fight a lot inside of themselves. And so we've been working for 6 weeks already. And a couple of weeks ago, it was 10 a.m. only. And he left the message, guys, I don't have energy. And I like asked myself, how come? And I asked question, what did happen like for this kind of 4 hours, like from 6 to 10? And he told me story. He was driving to his office and he started like fighting with the bus drivers. Who's gonna be first on the line? With the one bus, with the second bus, because he didn't want to be behind the bus. He was up front, and that's why fighting on the lines. Wow! And he came to work, and there is no energy, but ego is happy. Okay, just fight it. Yeah, and another lady from Germany, she is also from the group six. I had this kind of cases with the group number six. He's a bit smarter. She started like implementing all our knowledge right away, and she did some changes in her office, and she like put in the same right place, right people. And one of the like the girl 9-2, yeah, if we're talking about like suicide vocabulary, she started talking with her clients on the phone, and her conversation was just incredible. Everyone was so happy. They were like so amazed the way she was talking, and the owner was like, wow, it's just incredible. It's very interesting. And she started receiving the feedbacks because right people on the right place, they can transfer this energy. everything is related with the energies, and just incredible with this kind of proofs in a real business with real people. I can right now just like go to the any businesses, and we start with the owners, with the energy of the owners. We don't go in details. I'm not interested in numbers. I'm interested only one number, the date of birth, and I can give you everything. It's just incredible.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And as you can see in this poster, only 13% of the people have the money. I'm talking about money. You know, like when sometimes I ask them, "Do you want money?" and people say, "No, I don't care for money." But when I ask, "Do you want big money?" Yes, everybody wants big money. Nobody wants to trade the water and work and receive little reward. And by the way, not everything is measured in money. There is a level of happiness which is extremely important, and energy is built on that. If somebody does the work they love, they might not care about that much how often, how much they have monetary reward. But monetary reward is extremely important because we do live in material universe in which our reward is in material way. We can do what we want, and we can do more of what we want when we have resources. But 80% of the people need to raise their competencies a little bit up. But to raise competencies is to study, is to practice, is to communicate, is to scale, is to go through the crisis. And when you don't have enough energy, you cannot do it. And to have energy, you need to be doing what you love. And then the next question arises, but there are gazillions of things that I don't love. Yes, but when you have a gazillions of things, a list of things that you don't love, always start with the one you love. Look at your list and go for the easiest thing that you love. It will give you a shot of energy. With that shot of energy, you can do a little bit of what you might not love, or you might find the person who can do it for you. And because you do more of what you love, you make more money with what you love, you can then pay to the other people that do other things that they love, and not burden yourself and not have the burnout. Because you're right, the business owner idea is that I will do everything perfect. Maybe because it's your business and it's your baby and you want 100% for it. But just like the mother who is tired after sleepless nights, especially there's a few siblings in the home, she wants to do perfect, but she cannot do it perfectly. Same way you in charge of the big baby, a business, or if you're a manager, not an owner, it's the same thing. Managers often identify themselves as being the business owners and become business owners without owning the business. That happens a lot. I work a lot with the upper management. I'm so tired. He doesn't let me make this decision, but this is not your decision to make. Look into the level of decision that you can make. Leave the owner alone. Just like in a family, the children always think that they are always much more smarter, they're much faster than their parents, and they teach the parents what to do. And yes, sometimes our children are faster in certain technology, for example, but in experience they are not. So the manager does not have an experience of the owner. The employee does not have an experience of manager. And we all have our own path through life. And therefore, when you step on somebody else's path, it's hard. But when you look from outside, it's easy. Oh, I see their mistakes. They can do this, and this, but they're not doing it. And you go to criticism, that's where you lose the energy. Instead, look into how I can be in this place in which I am with my competencies, with my potentials, and find the resolution to the issues that I see above. Because some decisions are simpler to make at your level and improve all the levels above if you go for it. But if you don't have energy, you don't go for it. You just criticize. So when you want to criticize, always focus on and how can I make it better? And what resolution can I create at where I am? And how I can communicate, how I can prioritize my communication, not in a blame, shame, complain, which is lower energy, and you entrain with it and you pull your owner with it or your manager with it or your employees with that. You can look into what is priority of my conversation, what is the goal of my conversation. If it's about finding solution, I need to raise the energy. What kind of words I'm using? What kind of ideas I'm promoting? What are the proposals that I make to make this, which I don't like, feel better for everybody? And most importantly, how I can shift my state. If you're in a room full of people, every person brings the state.
Yeah.
What is your state in this room?
Yeah, and the great news that we have a knowledge how to bring you from the 80% not successful people to the 13 on this stage where you can start generate ideas and implement in objective reality, because as a fact all the people in this group of 13%, they can generate and they do generate money from those who are here on the 80% group because using their emotions. And that's why we're not going to teach you how to like use this group to generate your money. We're going to teach you how you can create the great ideas, great product, great service using your personal competences that's hidden in your date of birth. And that's why we invite you to unlock your potential, and competences that are going to be like very successful for a lot of people on this earth. And it doesn't matter where you live, how old you are right now, as we know. And I know for fact, once you start like focusing on yourself in your life, you start like generating great ideas, you start generating your new income and new potential. Because here we're talking about the opportunity, because we have opportunities like around us, but if you don't have energy, you even cannot see them. And we look at the TVs and we see Elon Musk and he's a great guy, but I don't have any ideas. No, you have the ideas, but you cannot see them. That's why it's really important to understand. You have already everything, but how to unlock it, you really need to know details. And with Svetlana, we are professional on this, and I really invite you to ask questions, guys, right now or later, and we'll be glad to answer them and guide you through all this kind of process, how to work from the lower level of your energy to the highest one.
And let's just summarize, what do you need to do to realize any ideas or any desires, or realize your life, or realize your dream, or whatever you want to bring into reality. First of all, we have three realities: subjective,
Mhm.
lots of idea, no action; objective, we do something, we see result, and we disagree with it. I want a better result. And then we have super objective reality, in which we are under spell of different laws, universal state laws, city laws, and all of that. So how do we bring things into reality? Which reality? All three of them. You have an idea from subjective mind. You bring it into objectivity through analysis and communication and prioritizing and goal setting. And then you go to super objective reality. You look into the laws. Am I breaking anything? Because if you break the law and you make the money, you will never be happy and it will never be enough. So when you create an idea, an intention for the business, don't go into the fears. What if this happened? What if this happened? Don't lose the energy on things that might or might not be. Go into acceptance. Yes, I see this is my competency. This is my team. This is my calendar, by the way. And the calendar is personal. Everybody has their own energy. Look into what energy supports you this year. What
Yeah.
energy does not support you? Don't push against. Agree with what is an objective reality. Recognize it and take it to the heart. This is mine. Thank you very much. I've gotten the gift. If my energy this year is prioritizing, I'm going to look for the priority. I'm not going to scale. If my energy is to scale, I'm not going to go into the comfort and sleep half a day. If my energy of this year is 6 and it's about sleeping and comforting and finding beauty and creating beautiful projects, then I'm not going to go scale, because maybe my comfort does not allow me to scale this year. And every time recognize and accept that what is and take it as a gift. And then, only then, you move. Don't just move all the time in 100 different directions, because this is where the energy is lost. Move forward to your vision without letting yourself fall back into the fears that might happen in the future because you've seen something bad in the past. Be in this moment in which you are about to choose your next step. And every time when there is one choice, it's not a choice. It's like, oh my God, I'm about to get into the crisis. I don't know what to choose. Create choices. Talk to people who know. Talk to experts. Talk to crisis managers like us. Understand where the growth is needed and where it's not needed this moment. And then when you make a decision, move. When you move, it's a decision. The movement does not happen randomly. You decide and you move. And then you recognize and accept, yay, I made this move. Don't forget to reward yourself just with that, because your mind
Yeah.
needs, good job, good job.
Yeah, yeah. And you have to remember the whole kind of success is combination, the level of energy and competences. Because you can be very energized, like, oh, I am very energized. But if there's no competence, you're a very energized guy. But when you're very competent in something, but there is no energy, nobody can see you. And that's why we're talking about like energy and competences working together. Guys, it was incredible, powerful. Yeah.
Let's have it as a slogan of the day, working together.
Working together. All right, stay tuned for the next episode next Tuesday.